Welcome to the series on how to begin data analysis. This is Dr. Lavani from Easy Biostat. In this video, I talk about contrast between parametric and non-parametric tests. In addition, normality checks for two sample data and other methods are also discussed. How to begin data analysis? In this video, I take up contrast between parametric and non-parametric tests, some normality checks. So, what is parametric? So, in this, the assumption that population data are from normally distributed is a requirement, and parameters like mean is to be estimated based on the sample. So from the population a sample is drawn, and that is taken as a sample is estimated. So this process in the process of this from population to estimate, then parameter and statistics are there. So apart from mean, you can have variance and standard deviation, and you can have difference of means, difference of two population means and difference of two sample means. Yeah, what is non-parametric? Non-parametric, like parametric, it doesn't depend on any parameter, and there is no estimation also. Only test of hypothesis is done in non-parametric test. That is also not on actual observations. It depends on the ranks of the actual observations. Now let us see in what different contexts corresponding non-parametric tests for parametric tests are like this. Like if the context is one sample test, so in the one sample test is Z statistic, which is equivalent is Wilcoxon signed rank test. So when the population standard deviation is not known, variance is not known, obviously in most practical cases, so it is also t test is done, and then in the comparison of two independent samples, we have t-test for, we demonstrated in the last video also. So there is a corresponding test in non-parametric is Mann-Whitney Wilcoxon. So when compare dependent samples, so we gave a terminology of paired and non-paired. This is a paired samples. In this we go for paired t-test, and then Wilcoxon signed rank test is performed here. Now various options of checking normality, in the previous video also we made a mention. I have just repeated this. In the previous video only skewness and kurtosis are compared for the data. Now the rest of the methods are also being seen in the two sample data. So the two sample data that we used in this present video and previous video also, systolic blood pressure measured in diabetic and control is the sample size of 19 and 25. So the data, hypothetical data that we used for both the groups are these, and so in order to check for normality, we go and use the explore option in the descriptive. So go to analysis, descriptive statistics, and explore. So these steps are they were explained in the previous video. I am just briefing now. So in the explore you have statistics and plot. The check of SD relative to mean, we get slightly higher values in both the groups, and maybe little liberal category of the next one, may consider them to be near normal. And regarding skewness and kurtosis, in the previous video we have already discussed. Only in the case of kurtosis, group 2 is slightly deviant. And then now with the explore, after having done statistics, we go for plots. So for plots, so we have histogram plot and box plot and the normality plots with tests. So in the same explore descriptive statistics explore category, so you have these three categories. Options, we keep them as it is. These two will be selected like this and have now histograms for diabetic and control are like this. And as we are noticing in other statistics, this is having near normal, and here we have in between very less frequencies are observed. And so then coming to box plot. So in the box plot, so the box indicates from first quartile to third quartile, and these extensions are minimum and maximum. The in between line is called median. So in the both of them here, first quartile and second quartile, and minimum and maximum. So if we look at the location of the median, so it is exactly in the middle of the box. So that is the reason it is appearing as in some tests as supporting normality. Here it is a right skewed distribution in the case of the control group. Now some indications we can get from box plots depending on the box and the extended minimum and maximum values. Then coming to QQ plots. So QQ plots for both the groups we have got from the SPSS output from the explore option only. One after the other you will get all of them. So the display is shown like this here. And so these are expected normals are plotted against observed values. Then the procedural aspect, everything will be taken care by the SPSS, and we don't go into the computation part of that. And QQ plots you will get this a linear line, straight line. So if our observations are close to the line, straight line, so it can be considered to be near normal. If it is falling perfectly on the line, then perfect normal distribution. And for this for group 2, so more deviation from linear is there. Points are near to linear in the group 1. So coming to some test of hypothesis for normality. So the widely used ones are Kolmogorov-Simonov, Simron, and Shapiro-Wilks. So most of the people were advising for Shapiro-Wilks, but what my observation is that it is very very strict criterion for normality. So if you look at here for our data, Kolmogorov test normal in group 1 is non-significant. That means non-significant indicates normality, and significant P less than 0.05 indicates this is not normal. So at least in one group Kolmogorov test. So whereas Shapiro-Wilks it shows in both the groups it is significant. P is less than 0.05 here, P is less than 0.001 here. So in both the groups, overall if you look at it, and so very often we don't need to go for these tests. So and the more liberal one is Kolmogorov according to my observations. So then non-parametric last time we demonstrated. So analyze and then go to non-parametric and then 2 independent samples in this. So whatever output we got, I am just showing for the sake of continuity. So in this non-parametric we got p-value 0.173, whereas in the parametric we are getting 0.198. So both are less than 0.05 and both are very near also. So overall there is no difference in the conclusions that we draw. And this is the retake of parametric results from the previous video. So we took equal variance as not assumed 1.98, which is almost close to non-parametric p-value. Now, what are the observations from various statistics, plots and tests on normality on our sample hypothetical data that we got? In the statistic, so they are nearly mean, and we have assumed them to be normal. In the skewness is satisfactory, but in the case of kurtosis, a little deviation is there. In the diagram, histogram peak locations varies, and both the QQ plots and box plots and diabetic group is satisfactory, but less satisfactory in control, whereas tests Kolmogorov is satisfactory for group 1, and so the other tests is Wilks test is not satisfactory in both of them. So with the above checks, and in addition to that, our knowledge of SBP being parent population of SBP being known to be normal, and the sample size is not too very small, so we prefer to assume normal approximation. So in addition, both parametric and non-parametric results also are agreeing. To my experience, many such exercises were done where the results were agreeing, where the normality was suspected. So there is I present before you some contrast between parametric and non-parametric. Parametric involve population parameters like mean, and it does for us both estimation and testing of hypothesis. So the non-parametric, no parameter, no estimation, only test of hypothesis based on ranks. So stringent assumptions on normality for various tests. So the normality checks that we discussed, so it's only for interval or ratio scales that is used, and the non-parametric are distribution free, require no assumption about population probability distributions, and can be used for non-normal data also, for data measured on any scale, like nominal, interval, and the other two scales that we are covering. So now one important aspect in the parametric test is usually have more statistical power than the non-parametric equivalents. So that is the reason we tend to go for this, unless very rare cases where the very much skewed and it is suspected to be assumed to be normal, will go for parametric. This may the non-parametric in that case may waste the information compared to parametric, where efficient use if data are approximately normal. So finally, if the sample size is large and parent population is normal, even non-normal also according to central limit theorem, and then proceed based on normality in sampling distribution. So in the non-parametric, if no assumption of normality of parent population, so we don't have any idea of the parent population being normal, and the sample size in hand is also very small, then we have to perfectly go for non-parametric test. There is no alternative. With this, I thank you. See you again. Easy Biostat.